Hey folks, welcome to You Can Do It. I'm your host Chris, and in this video I'm going to be building a custom sprinkler valve control box to house this pre-assembled 4-valve system made by Orbit. So stay tuned, you don't want to miss it. I'll show you how you can do it. So let me show you the setup and why I'm going with a custom box. So I got the pre-assembled Orbit 4-valve system here, and I was just going to go with just the valve setup, but this go around I'm going to install these Y drip system filters. It's an inline filter, and there's a cartridge inside this, and inside here there's a filter. It's a cleanable filter. This prevents any debris from going into your heads on your drip system sprinkler heads and plugging them. So so when you come in and you've got 3 or 4 going and the others are all plugged up because there's debris or dirt in there, why would that happen? Well, in our neighborhood here, we've had lots of new construction going on, and they just keep having mud and stuff coming through. They're plugging the faucets in the kitchen, and it's just been an ongoing thing. So I'm just going to go ahead and put these in so I just don't have to deal with having plugged heads. So with that being said, this box is going to be quite large because I'm going to have 4 of these in here, plus I'm going to have a spigot over here and a ball valve to shut this off in the winter time, and then the spigot will be to drain off the water. That's how I'm going to do it. I was going to separate this into 2 boxes, but I just didn't want all that in front of my greenhouse because it is right next to the greenhouse and you will see it. And for me, I just didn't want to see those green lids. So I'm going to build a custom box and a custom lid, and I'm going to show you how you can do it. So I've got all of the plywood cut to make the inner box and the outer box. So the inside dimensions of my box is going to be 30 long by 24 wide. So what I'm going to do now, in order to get my sleeves accurate when I go to install the valves, I'm going to take my valve body here and I'm going to trace out exactly where these sleeves need to be inserted, and I need to drill the holes into the plywood so I can insert some 3-inch, 1-inch sleeves. Actually, I'm using 1.25 inch pipe. So it'll be a 3-inch sleeve, 1.25 inch pipe, so that I can actually insert the 3/4 pipe through here, which is going to be connected to the valve body. So I'm going to go ahead and trace the valves onto the plywood. Now I'm coming down so that if this is the top of the box and that's grade, my valve body is going to be down into the box at about 12.5 to 13 inches because my pipes will be 12 inches in the ground. So I'm going to be at about 13 inches. Position it where you think you need it so that you can get your pipes in and whatever you're doing. So I'm going to go ahead and trace this out. So there's the holes. I'm going to be drilling those 4 holes out into the plywood so that I can insert my sleeves into the plywood. So I'm going to go ahead and drill out these 4 holes using a 2-inch hole saw, so it'll allow for 1.25 inch pipe to fit through for the sleeve. right, so I got the whole form system here staked in place. I put these 2x4s in here to keep the whole thing together. I had it measured out perfectly all the way around. So I'm gonna take these out now and I'm gonna get ready to pour concrete. I got this box level with my concrete over here. It's a little bit higher, just a little bit, but the box is level. And so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pour in the concrete all the way around. Let me take out this other form here, or this other 2x4. I'll probably put some gravel in here so the box drains naturally. I'm gonna put probably about 4 to 5 inches of gravel in here, some pretty good sized gravel, and then around the edges so the box won't take on water. So this is what it looks like here. Kind of get an idea. The walls are 17 inches high, so I'm gonna fill that in. I got my sleeves running through there. Those are actually 1.5 inches. I went with 1.5 inch pipe. 1.25 inches will work, but I went with 1.5 inches. I got them duct tape on both sides of the plywood so the concrete won't seep through. And then when I'm done, I'll strip the form boards, pull all the duct tape off, and we'll be good to go. So I've got this thing staked down. I got 3 to 4 stakes on each side to hold it steady so it doesn't move. And I'm just gonna go ahead and fill it in with some rock down at the bottom and set up the cement mixer. So I filled in the base with about 5 inches of 2-inch rock. Pretty much this entire project is all repurposed plywood and some scrap pipe that I had. So just trying to save money. I'm just using everything that I had here at the house. As you can see, I got some gravel over here. This is gonna be different landscapes. I didn't really care. I just took all the gravel that was in this place to begin with, raked it back, and I used it in the base for a good drain, because it's about 5 to 6 inches, probably 8 inches in the center of 2-inch drain rock. So when it rains real heavy, it should help leach the water out. So the box might get some water in it, but it'll help drain the water. Concrete's poured, and we'll just come back tomorrow and see what it looks like. Maybe we might be able to take the forms off later in the afternoon. It's supposed to be about 65, 70. So, well, I had to put some C-clamps on here to kind of hold it together. It was starting to spread out, but it turned out really good. I think it's gonna work out just fine. So we'll come back tomorrow and pull it apart. All right, so it's been about 24 hours. I'm gonna go ahead and strip these forms down, and we'll see how this thing turned out, see how all these sleeves worked out, and just see what this product looks like. So let's get going. here's a closer shot. You can see the valves and then the drip filters here going right through the sleeves. And then I'll have the main water main with the ball valve. It'll come through this side and tie in over here and then exit over here into the greenhouse. And then this sleeve right here will be for a 3/4 conduit coming in with my wires to feed the valves for the irrigation controller. Installed all the piping going into the greenhouse. As you can see, all the sleeves that I had positioned in the concrete, they're all they turned out great. There was enough room in them so that I could maneuver the pipes in and out. They weren't too tight. You can caulk the outside of the sleeves if you'd like, so mud doesn't come into the box, but I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. So I've got my water main right here feeding the control valves, but then it's also running into the greenhouse. I'll put a water spigot in there, stub up. And then I've got my electrical line over here to the right of the box. That's gonna stub up. I've got this stub up right here. I'm gonna build a wall that's gonna come right into that 4x4 steel post. It's gonna come along here, and then this 3/4 pipe, which will carry my 20 amp circuit. It's gonna operate the greenhouse fans and lights. And I've got these 3 conduits over here, or those water lines running up the wall. Those are running from the valves, and they'll run drip irrigation, a mister, and then I've got the water main over here. That's the water main off to the right. I'm gonna run that inside the bed all the way down to a sink that's gonna go down there. So I'm gonna go ahead and start backfilling this. The last thing I gotta run, you can see that there's a sleeve without anything in it. I'm gonna run a conduit in there, 3/4, and that's gonna come into the wall also, right next to that conduit. And that's gonna feed the control wiring going from the control box to the valves to operate them. All right, I'm gonna backfill now. I just installed the last pipe into the last sleeve there, that 3/4 pipe. It runs over not too far and then 90s up next to the electric pipe. That's gonna be a wall right there. I'm gonna pour a concrete wall, and those pipes will come up into the wall. I put a board in between them to separate them so that I can actually get the fittings on the top of the pipe there. If you tape them all together, it's pretty hard to get the fittings on. So I put a board in between them, so when I go to pour the concrete wall, it'll be nice and plumb. It'll come up and I can actually do something with them. All right, so I'm gonna continue backfilling. So here's the finished product, folks. We got this nice concrete valve box. I'm gonna go ahead and have I'm gonna go down to the metal yard and find a piece of steel, probably 3/16 thick or maybe 1/4 inch thick, that'll go over this. I might cut a hinge in it so I can get to my hose bib here, or you can make it out of wood, whatever is easiest for you. There's just a scrap yard down the road where they just have scrap metal that you can get by the pound, so it just works out better. Make it steel to where I'm not going to have to replace the wood. But anyhow, that's going to be the next step, and we'll show you later on once our greenhouse build's done what this looks like. But it's ready to be wired, and I'm ready to run my wire down the pipe and wire up all my controls. So There you go. Thank you for watching. You can do it, and I hope this video helped you out.